So all of you readers from MMOBOM, I hope you're enjoying the coverage from Gamescom, and I hope you enjoy the coverage from Wargaming. We've got a lot of great stuff here at the show for World of Tanks and World of Warplanes. We're really excited to show it. If you're in Cologne, Germany, you're going to come to Gamescom, check out our booth. You're going to have a great time. You're going to be able to play both games, and keep reading the site for more updates. So here at Gamescom, we have a lot of great things going on for fans of Wargaming. A lot of cool stuff for World of Tanks and World of Warplanes. Probably the biggest thing for us right now for World of Tanks is the addition of British tanks. We're shooting for a September release for that. We're going to add a lot of iconic, cool British tanks that people know from history, like the Churchill, like the Matilda, like the Black Prince. Iconic tanks from the World War II era from Britain that fans have really been asking for a really long time, and we're really happy to show the press and the consumers here a lot of what we have planned for the British tanks. Also, we just announced this fairly recently, but we have a new game actually called World of Tanks Generals. It's a free-to-play, browser-based collectible card game, all based off the World of Tanks universe. You're going to have over 220 different collectible cards, and you use them in sort of like a really fun, addictive, strategy-based kind of game where you're really sort of planning and your moves and really planning your tactics, playing against other players in a really unique World of Tanks gaming experience. But it has a lot of features from the actual World of Tanks games that players are really going to sort of be familiar with, like researching new tanks, researching new technology. So even fans of the game who are totally new to collectible card games like this are going to find something really fun to experience. So outside of World of Tanks, we have a lot of cool stuff for World of Warplanes. We just announced actually recently that we're going to be adding to the closed beta a Japanese tech tree. So a lot of those iconic planes like the Zero from World War II, people in the closed beta and eventually when the game comes out in its full release are going to be able to sort of take to the skies, not only in planes from the US, USSR, and Germany, but also Japan now. And then lastly also, we're just showing off a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool updates for World of Warplanes as well. We're adding really cool things to give players extra customization, extra personalization. A big thing for us is modules. So basically, players will be able to pick presets, basically preset sort of items and enhancements for their planes, like engines and guns and things like that, to sort of give their plane an extra set of customization. And at the same time, we're just adding lots of new tweaks, a lot of new visual upgrades, adding really cool clouds that are going to be able to allow players to hide in them and fight and get the attack on players. It's just going to be a great addition. From learning from World of Tanks, I think Wargaming basically looked at the kind of game it was, and I think from the beginning there was already sort of this seed of an idea of, you know what, the World of Tanks model is working, we really need to look at how we're going to expand this series into other games, most naturally the next one coming up, which is World of Warplanes. I don't think from the very beginning it was always planned as a sequel, but the team is always learning from what they've done in the past. Even before World of Tanks, we had previous games that Wargaming made, and they provided a really good groundwork of learning experience for what World of Tanks became. The team is using a lot of those learnings from World of Tanks for World of Warplanes and onto World of Warships. So, you know, I think as we move forward, we're always learning, always evolving, always trying to learn from our mistakes and really learn from our success. As far as sequels outside of World of Warships, right now I can't really say anything about that. We're just making sure that Warships and Warplanes are the best experiences they can be. So we've gotten a lot of questions from players, from press, from fans around the world, how we're going to unite all three games, tanks, warplanes, and warships together. And at the most basic level, at E3 this past year, we announced the Wargaming.net service. So what that is basically going to be is it's going to be an online system where all of your accounts for all three games are going to be unified. You're going to have one login for all three games, and we're working on a system to let you share experience, gold, and other resources between the games. So if you're only a World of Tanks player, but you want to start getting into World of Warplanes, you're going to be able to take some of that experience, some of that gold, and transfer it to your Warplanes account and get into the game right away, buy some new planes, research some new technology, and really have like a really fun, right out of the gate kind of experience with that game. Right now, if you're familiar with World of Tanks, we have a mode like the Global Domination map. Basically what you have is you have groups of players vying for control over a giant map, taking over key regions and trying to control the whole map. With Warplanes, we're going to have the same feature. So what you're going to look at is you're going to have a Global Domination map that control isn't just dictated by the tanks now, but it's going to be dictated by the tanks and the planes. The same is going to happen for warships as well. A lot of people ask, though, if we're really going to sort of try to go for one huge game that has tanks, planes, warships all at one time. You know, and I think ultimately that's really an end goal for us, but right now we're just sort of focused on making sure that each of those games is successful and is fun in its own right before we try to merge them all together into one. So who knows? In the long term, that's definitely a possibility, but right now we can't say for certain. So what can you expect from Wargaming in the future? I think there's a lot to really look forward to. We're always updating World of Tanks, new content, British tanks, new features, World of Warplanes. The game is in closed beta right now. We've had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of players sign up for the closed beta. We're getting great amounts of feedback and input and reaction from those players, and we're really trying to make sure that that game is as fun and as good as it could possibly be. And then a little bit further off into the distance, we have World of Warships. You know, we haven't shown a lot about that game yet, but you know, it's really going to be a truly unique and different and incredibly fun experience. I think the idea of using gigantic battleships and destroyers, aircraft carriers to sort of just rule the oceans and the seas is a really cool premise, and we're happy and we're excited that players are going to finally get a chance to play that in the future. Right now, you know what I mean, it's making sure that all three of those games are as good as they possibly can be, making sure our players are happy, and then from the future there, who knows, you know, the sky's the limit.